In this training module, you'll be learning how to drive this BR103.1 electric locomotive.
When you're ready to begin, climb aboard. Sit in the driver's seat. For this introduction, you'll be driving the train a short distance and performing passenger operations. This locomotive requires the reverser handle to be inserted before operation. Set the reverser to the neutral setting while we take over. Set the headlights to indicate that this train is operational. Unlock the brakes with the brake key to allow braking to be controlled from this cab. This locomotive has two types of brakes. You'll be using the driver's brake, which controls brakes on the entire formation. If you were running as a light locomotive, you would use the direct brake, which is quicker to apply but only performs braking on the locomotive. Open the passenger doors to allow boarding. Close the doors before departure. The reverser controls the direction of travel. Now we're ready to depart.
For faster acceleration, the transformer switch can be used. This supplies the traction motors with an additional 100 volts each, increasing power output. To avoid damage to the locomotive, it should not be used for more than 2 minutes or on trains with more than 8 coaches. If too much power is applied, the MCB may trip. If this happens, set the tap changer to 0 and close the MCB to recover the locomotive.
The large wheel in the center of the desk is the tap changer, which controls power delivery in the locomotive. Set the tap changer to the power index you need, and the traction motors will gradually apply the set power. The currently selected tap is shown on the dashboard. Before we can start braking, the tap changer needs to be set back to 0.
The first DB BR103.1 entered service in 1970. It was designed for DB's new intercity system, so had to be capable of pulling a 400-ton train at 200 km/h. These initial intercity services were first class only. Second class carriages were added later in 1979 and resulted in a large increase in popularity and demand. The addition of second class coaches increased the weight of the trains to over 600 tons on already challenging routes. The BR-103.1 proved capable though, as its power output of 7,440 kilowatts, or 9,980 horsepower, makes it one of the most powerful electric locomotives ever produced. 4 prototype and 145 production BR-103s were produced, and until 1987 it had a near monopoly on fast passenger services with speeds above 160 km per hour in Germany. It was not uncommon for individual locomotives to cover in excess of 1,000 kilometers a day. In 1985, a BR-103 set a new speed record for a German train, reaching 283 kilometers per hour. That's 176 miles per hour.
Approaching the station, begin applying a small amount of braking force using the driver's brake valve to bring the train to a gentle stop. Good work. That concludes all the basics of operating this train.
Welcome to this Class 101 3-car diesel mechanical multiple unit in British Rail blue and grey livery. This brief introduction will cover startup, stopping and passenger operations. Before getting started, some of the controls must be set in the rear cab. Head over and climb aboard. Red lights are used to signify that this is the rear of the operational train. While the brakes in the lead vehicle hold the train, set this brake as indicated. Everything's now set up, so head to the front of the train to continue preparations. The control circuit key is used to activate. White lights will indicate to anyone around that this is the front of the operational train. This train features 2 engines in each driving vehicle. Start the engines. Now start the engines in the rear vehicle. Give a quick glance of the platform to ensure all is safe, then unlock the doors. It's time to move. Set the handbrake as indicated. This train features a gear system similar to cars on the road. To attain higher speeds, the active gear must be increased at the appropriate time. The brakes on this train act like a water tap. The higher the setting, the faster the train will stop. Open the valve to select the desired pressure, then close it again to maintain that pressure. Increase the throttle to start moving. Do not apply too much power too quickly. It's important to provide a smooth ride for passengers. The process of changing gear has several steps. Set the throttle to idle and allow the engine RPM to reduce below the yellow zone. Engage the new gear, then return to the desired throttle application. Let's try. Observe that the train now has the ability to accelerate to a higher speed. When the RPM dial reaches the top of the yellow zone, repeat the gear change process to continue accelerating. There's a short distance between here and the next stop, so be sure to manage the train and prevent overspeeding. To cruise at a constant speed, the highest gear should be engaged. This reduces the speed the engine operates at and is fuel efficient. Stopping a train in the right place is the greatest skill of a driver. It may take a few attempts to get it right. The brake control on this train opens a vacuum, releasing pressure holding the brakes off the wheels. To maintain a specific pressure, close this valve by setting the handle to the lapped position. Aim to be doing no more than 15 miles per hour when the train reaches the platform. Then come to a stop anywhere alongside. Start applying a small amount of brake force now to achieve a comfortable stop. Well done. Good work. That's the basics covered. A manual can also be obtained that provides more detail about the full functionality of this train and more.
In this training module, you'll be learning how to operate the Karlsruhe Kopf BNRDZF 463 N-Wagen control car. This formation is powered by a BR-110 locomotive at the rear of the train, which has already been set up for you. For a long time, the N-Wagons were the most common vehicle in local German. More recently, BR-110 locomotives. Firstly, you'll need to insert the reverser handle. While you set up the cab, set the reverser. Unlock the brakes with the brake key to allow brake. Set the headlights to indicate that this train is operational. Open the passenger doors to allow. The train is now ready to depart. Set the reverser to the forward. Release the brakes. The throttle in this cab is a sprung ratcheted control. Pushing the lever forward to the run-up position will increase the selected tap in the locomotive and increase power. The hold position will maintain power at the current level. Pulling the lever towards you to the run-down position will decrease the selected tap. Pulling the lever towards you to the off position runs down the tap to 0 and will allow coasting. The throttle will be held in this position. As you cannot see the selected tap in this cab, you'll need to keep a close eye on the ammeter to ensure that you do not overload the traction motors. For this introduction, you'll be driving the train a short distance and performing passenger operations. you.